Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine yourself standing in the life you have always dreamed of. Success is no longer a distant hope. It is here now. You feel it in every breath, in every step you take. You are no longer chasing success. You are living it. This is the secret. Success does not come to those who wait in doubt. It comes to those who assume it is already theirs. The world does not respond to what you want. It responds to who you are. And who are you? A person already successful, already accomplished, already standing in the victory you once only imagined. Look around you. The people who have everything you desire did not get there by waiting for proof. They became it first, within. They lived in the end in the certainty of their success. They did not question if it would come. They knew it was already done. This is the mindset that transforms lives. Stop looking at your current circumstances as permanent. They are only a reflection of old beliefs, of past assumptions. Change what you believe and the world will change to match it. Stop saying, "One day I will be successful." Instead, declare, "I am already successful." Let those words become the foundation of your being. When you wake up, walk as a successful person walks. When you speak, speak with the confidence of one who is already won. When you think, let your thoughts be filled with certainty, not doubt. Act as if success is already yours, and soon the world will have no choice but to confirm it. You do not need to force, struggle, or beg. Success is not outside of you, it is within you, waiting for you to claim it. The moment you truly believe it, everything shifts. Doors open, opportunities appear, and life begins to reflect the truth you have embraced. So right now, decide, will you continue waiting, doubting, and hoping, or will you step into the reality where success is already yours? The choice is yours, and once you choose to live in the certainty of your success, nothing can stop it from manifesting. What you assume to be true in your inner world will reflect in your outer world. This is not wishful thinking, it is the fundamental law that governs reality. Everything you experience is a direct reflection of what you hold as true within yourself. If you assume success, it must, by the very nature of existence, materialize in your life. It cannot be any other way. Consider for a moment the way life unfolds. Look at those who move through the world with confidence, those who seem to attract opportunities effortlessly. Are they working harder than everyone else? Or is there something deeper at play? The truth is, their success is a result of their assumptions. They do not wait for proof before believing in their greatness. They believe first, and the proof follows. You have been conditioned to think that success is something external, something you must earn, fight for, or be lucky enough to receive. But this is a deception. Success is not something separate from you. It is not something outside of you that you must chase. It is within, waiting for you to assume it as your reality. The moment you shift your inner state, the world will rearrange itself to match your belief. Every experience in your life is a mirror of your assumptions. If you assume that success is difficult, that you must struggle, that only a few people ever achieve greatness, then that will be your reality. You will encounter obstacles, delays, and disappointments because your inner world is set to expect them. But if you assume that success is natural for you, that opportunities are always present, that you are worthy of abundance, then life will respond accordingly. This is not about forcing yourself to think positively while secretly doubting. It is about a deep, unwavering conviction that what you desire is already yours. You must assume it so completely that there is no room for doubt. You must walk through life with the certainty that success is inevitable, just as you are certain the sun will rise tomorrow. Look at your past and see the patterns. Notice how your dominant assumptions have shaped your experiences. When you believed in struggle, struggle appeared. When you expected failure, failure found you. But there were also moments when you believed in something so strongly that it became your reality. Those moments were not coincidences. They were proof of this law in action. The good news is that you are never trapped. You can change your assumptions at any moment. It does not matter where you are now. What matters is what you assume to be true from this moment forward. If you begin to assume that success is already yours, that you are already living in the reality you desire, everything must shift. Do not wait for external validation. The world is a reflection. It cannot show you something you do not first accept within. Assume success before it appears. Walk as though you are already victorious. Speak as though the world has already recognized your greatness. Think as though every goal you set is already achieved. This is the key. People who achieve greatness are not waiting for permission. They are not looking around for confirmation. They assume their success so completely that it becomes unavoidable. They step into a room and own it. They take action with confidence because in their minds the outcome is already secured. The world bends to their belief. You must do the same. Stop wondering if success is possible for you. Stop doubting whether you are worthy. Stop measuring yourself against others. The only thing that matters is what you assume to be true. And if you assume success, if you accept it as your reality now, it must manifest. There is no force outside of you preventing your success. The only thing standing between you and the life you desire is your own assumption of what is possible. Change that, and you change everything. Success is not something you chase, it is a state of being. It is not a distant goal, something to be attained through struggle and endless effort. It is a feeling, a state of mind that must be embraced now, in this very moment. The mistake many people make is believing that success is external, that it exists somewhere in the future waiting to be earned. But the truth is, success is already within you, and it is your responsibility to embody it before you see any physical evidence. The way life works is simple. You do not attract what you want, you attract what you are. If you constantly feel like success is something beyond your reach, if you see yourself as someone still striving, still hoping, still waiting, then that will be your reality. You will always feel like you are on the outside looking in, always just short of the breakthrough you desire. But if you shift your state, if you choose to feel the joy, confidence, and certainty of already having what you seek, then the world will mirror that back to you. Consider the way successful people move through life. They do not act as if they are hoping to become something great one day. They already embody that greatness. Their energy, their presence, their actions all stem from a deep knowing that they are already successful. They do not question whether or not they will succeed. They assume it as a given. This is what separates them from those who spend their lives chasing and never arriving. The key is to cultivate this feeling of fulfillment now, before any external proof appears. You must train yourself to live in the emotional and mental state of already having what you desire. When you wake up in the morning, do not dwell on what is missing. Dwell on the feeling of success, as if it is already yours. How would you think if you knew you had already achieved everything you wanted? How would you walk? How would you speak? How would you carry yourself if there was no doubt in your mind that success belonged to you? You must feel it first. This is not about pretending or forcing yourself to be positive. It is about shifting into the version of yourself that already exists. The version that is fulfilled, at peace, and completely certain of their success. When you live in this feeling, when you make it your dominant state, the world has no choice but to conform to it. Many people spend their lives in a cycle of waiting. They wait for circumstances to change before they allow themselves to feel happy, confident, and successful. But this approach is backward. Life does not give you success first so that you can feel successful. You must feel successful first, and then life will align to reflect that feeling. Everything is energy, and your emotions are the strongest indicator of the reality you are creating. If you constantly feel lack, worry, and doubt, you are reinforcing a reality where success remains out of reach. But if you choose in this very moment to dwell in the feeling of already having what you want, you are sending a powerful signal to the universe that this is your truth. This is why gratitude is so powerful. When you are grateful, you are affirming that you already have something worth appreciating. Gratitude shifts your focus from what is missing to what is present. It places you in the vibration of fulfillment, which then attracts even more success into your life. When you practice gratitude for the success that is already unfolding, even if you cannot yet see it, your reality begins to shift rapidly. The world responds to your inner state, not your outer efforts. You can struggle, push, and work tirelessly, but if your inner state is one of lack and uncertainty, success will always elude you. But the moment you embody the feeling of already having it, things begin to flow. Opportunities arise, doors open, and life begins to align with your assumption. You are not separate from success. It is not something outside of you that you must chase. It is something you must become. And the way to become it is to live in the feeling of fulfillment now. Do not wait. Do not make excuses. Decide in this moment to feel the way you would feel if you already had everything you desire. Hold that feeling, live in it, and watch as life bends to match your inner world. What you see in your life right now is nothing more than a reflection of your past thoughts, beliefs, and assumptions. It is the result of the energy you have been projecting, the stories you have been telling yourself, and the emotions you have been living in. But here's the truth. The present moment does not define your future. It is simply the past playing out in physical form. If you continue to focus on what is in front of you, if you continue to react to your current circumstances as if they are absolute, then you will only perpetuate the same reality over and over again. The key to transformation is learning to ignore what your senses tell you and instead focus only on the reality you are creating within. Your imagination, your belief, and your inner assumptions are what shape your world, not the other way around. The mistake most people make is that they look at their current situation and assume it is fixed, unchangeable, or representative of what is possible for them. But this is an illusion. The present moment is simply the materialization of old thoughts, old beliefs, and old patterns. The only thing that matters is what you choose to believe and imagine now, because that is what will determine what unfolds next. Think about a tree. If you plant a seed today, you do not expect a fully grown tree to appear overnight. There is a process, a period of unseen growth beneath the soil before the sprout even emerges. Just because you cannot see the roots forming does not mean nothing is happening. The same is true with your desires. When you change your beliefs, when you shift your assumptions, the transformation begins immediately, but it may take time before it appears in physical form. If you give up too soon because your circumstances haven't yet changed, you are like the person who digs up the seed before it has a chance to grow. This is why discipline of the mind is crucial. You must train yourself to see beyond the illusion of the present moment. No matter what is happening around you, no matter what temporary obstacles may arise, you must hold firm to the reality you are creating in your imagination. The external world will eventually catch up, but only if you persist. Consider the people who have achieved greatness despite all odds. Many of them started with nothing. Some even faced extreme hardship and failure. But what separated them from others was their ability to ignore what their senses told them. They did not accept their present circumstances as permanent. They saw beyond them. They lived in the reality of their vision, long before the world confirmed it. They refused to let their current conditions dictate what was possible. You must do the same. If you desire wealth but your bank account is empty, do not focus on lack. See yourself as already abundant. If you desire love but you feel lonely, do not dwell on loneliness. Imagine yourself already in the loving relationship you seek. If you desire success but circumstances seem to be against you, do not give your energy to struggle. Instead, embody the mindset of someone who has already won. This is not about ignoring reality in a delusional way. It is about recognizing that reality is fluid, that it is always shifting to match the energy and belief you hold within. Your job is not to fix the present moment. Your job is to create the future by assuming it is already done. When you do this, reality must conform. The biggest test comes when things seem stagnant or when challenges arise. This is when most people give up, fall back into doubt, and return to old assumptions. But this is exactly when you must persist. The outer world is slow to change because it is dense, but the inner world shifts instantly. Hold to the new belief long enough and the external world has no choice but to align. Your senses will try to deceive you. They will show you limitations, obstacles, and reasons to doubt. But do not be fooled. What you see now is not a reflection of what is possible. It is merely a reflection of what has been. If you want something different, you must focus only on the vision you are creating. You must refuse to react to the old reality and instead immerse yourself fully in the new one. This is how true change happens. Not by fighting against circumstances, not by struggling or forcing, but by assuming the reality you desire is already yours and refusing to waver. Ignore the present if it does not align with your vision. Live in the certainty of what is coming, and soon the world will catch up. Your mind is the master key to everything you desire. The world around you does not shape your beliefs. Your beliefs shape the world around you. Every success, every failure, every experience you encounter is a direct reflection of the assumptions you hold within. If you wish to change your reality, you must begin by changing your mind. The greatest secret of life is that external conditions are not fixed. They are fluid, responding to the convictions you carry deep inside. Train your mind to accept success as your natural state, and soon success will no longer feel like something to chase. It will become the very foundation upon which you stand. Most people go through life reacting to circumstances. They believe that events shape their mindset, that their thoughts must conform to what they see, but this is entirely backward. The mind is not meant to be a passive observer of reality. It is the force that creates it. Every thought, every belief, every deep-seated assumption sends out an energetic blueprint that the world must follow. You are not at the mercy of chance, luck, or circumstance. You are the cause, and the world around you is merely the effect. Understanding this is one thing, applying it is another. To truly harness the power of your mind, you must first take control of what you allow yourself to think and feel on a daily basis. If you constantly affirm doubt, struggle, and failure, whether through words, thoughts, or emotions, then those experiences will be reflected back to you. But if you train yourself to think only in terms of certainty, confidence, and abundance, then success must follow. This is not about empty affirmations or wishful thinking. It is about reprogramming your subconscious mind until success feels natural, until it is no longer something you hope for, but something you expect. Consider the way truly successful people move through life. They do not hesitate. They do not question whether or not they will succeed. They assume it. They do not spend time worrying about failure because they do not identify with failure. Their internal world is already filled with the certainty of their success, and as a result, the external world shapes itself to match that belief. You must train your mind to do the same. Begin by observing your thoughts. What do you tell yourself daily? Do you dwell on what is missing, or do you focus on what is possible? Do you assume struggle, or do you assume ease? Do you feel like success is something distant, something reserved for others, or do you embrace the truth that it is already within you, waiting to be expressed? Your dominant mental state determines everything. If you want to see a shift in your external world, you must first shift the way you think and feel. Instead of seeing success as something you must earn through relentless struggle, see it as your birthright. Instead of believing that opportunity is rare, believe that it is abundant and always flowing to you. Instead of identifying with failure, rejection, or hardship, identify with certainty, confidence, and accomplishment. One of the most effective ways to do this is through repetition. The subconscious mind learns through repetition, not through force. If you spend years feeding it doubt, you cannot expect an instant transformation. But if you consciously and consistently affirm your success, if you hold on to the feeling of already being the person you wish to become, then eventually it will sink into your being. You will no longer have to force yourself to believe, you will simply know. Your mind is the key, and once you master it, nothing can stand in your way. You do not need to manipulate circumstances. You do not need to struggle against the world. You only need to align your inner world with the reality you desire, and the rest will take care of itself. Train your mind to see success as the only possible outcome, and soon your life will reflect nothing else. Success is not something you wait for. It is something you become. Every word you speak, every thought you entertain, and every action you take is shaping your reality. If you wish to experience success, you must first embody it. You must think, speak, and act as the version of yourself who has already achieved everything you desire. There is no waiting, no hoping, no someday. The shift happens the moment you decide to step into that identity now. Most people believe that once they achieve success, they will then start thinking, speaking, and acting like a successful person. But this is completely backward. The world does not shape you, you shape the world. If you speak like someone who doubts their ability, if you think like someone who is unsure, and if you act like someone who is hesitant, then your external reality will reflect those qualities. But if you choose to think, speak, and act as the version of yourself who has already won, the world has no choice but to mirror that assumption back to you. Start with your words. What you say is not just a reflection of your reality, it is a command to the universe. Words carry power. They are a declaration of your internal state. If you constantly speak of lack, of struggle, of uncertainty, then you are reinforcing those conditions in your life. But if you speak words of confidence, certainty, and abundance, then you are setting the stage for success to unfold. Speak as though you already have what you desire. Speak with authority. Eliminate words of doubt and replace them with words of conviction. Then examine your thoughts. Your thoughts are the seeds of your reality. Every successful person first saw their success in their mind before it ever became tangible. They imagined it, felt it, and lived in that mental reality long before the world caught up. If you constantly think thoughts of failure, if you worry about obstacles, if you doubt yourself, then you are creating a reality where those things exist. But if you think thoughts of certainty, if you assume that success is inevitable, if you visualize yourself already living in your desired state, then your mind will begin to shape your world to match. Next, align your actions. It is not enough to think and speak success. You must act as if it is already yours. This does not mean forcing or struggling. It means moving through life as though you are already the successful person you wish to become. How does that version of you carry themselves? How do they make decisions? What habits do they have? What risks do they take? If you wait until success arrives before you embody these traits, you will never experience them. But if you adopt them now, if you start acting like the version of you who has already won, then success must follow. You do not need permission to be successful. You do not need validation from the world before you decide to step into that version of yourself. The only thing standing between you and the life you desire is your willingness to claim it now. Stop waiting for circumstances to change before you shift your mindset. Stop waiting for proof before you believe. Success is not something that happens to you. It is something you declare, something you embody, something you step into fully. Imagine yourself as already having everything you desire. How would you speak? How would you think? How would you move? Begin living in that reality today. Make it your dominant state of being. When your words, thoughts, and actions are aligned with success, the world will rearrange itself to match. The shift does not begin out there, it begins within you. There is a strange yet profound secret hidden in the art of manifestation, one that few grasp, yet it governs all creation. It is this: the moment you truly let go, the thing you seek rushes to you. It is not through force, not through desperate striving, but through the quiet certainty that it is already yours. Consider the seed buried in the earth. The farmer does not dig it up each day to see if it is growing. He does not beg the soil to produce a harvest. He knows with unwavering faith that nature will fulfill its promise. So too must you plant your desires in the rich soil of your imagination and trust that the unseen forces will bring them forth in their perfect time. When you hold on too tightly, you send a message of lack. You declare to the universe that you do not believe in the certainty of your own creation. But when you let go, when you assume its reality and release all need to chase, it must appear. This is the paradox. Desire without attachment, belief without grasping. You are not to run after your desires as though they are distant from you. Instead, you are to assume the state of the one who already possesses them. You do not beg for what is already yours. You do not plead for the air you breathe, nor do you chase the sun to ensure it rises. Likewise, you must walk with a quiet confidence that what you have imagined is already unfolding. The moment you stop asking when, how, or if, the unseen forces move mountains on your behalf. What is it that you seek? Wealth, love, success, peace? See it done, feel it as real, and then let go. Trust in the power that governs all things. The instant you release the desperate need to control, you will find it flowing effortlessly into your life. The greatest obstacle to receiving what you desire is the act of chasing it. The more you run after something, the more you confirm to yourself and to the unseen forces that it is missing from your life. You reinforce the belief that you do not already have it, and this very state of wanting keeps it out of reach. True creation does not come from struggle, nor does it arise from desperate attempts to manipulate circumstances. It emerges from a quiet, unshakable knowing, a certainty that what you seek is already yours. When you assume the reality of your desire without anxiety or doubt, you align yourself with the unseen forces that bring all things into being. Imagine a person who longs for love but constantly obsesses over whether they will ever find it. They search endlessly, analyze every interaction, and feel restless in their solitude. In doing so, they send out the message that love is missing, that it is something external they must pursue. Their very longing pushes it further away because their state of mind is one of lack, not fulfillment. But contrast this with someone who walks through life with the quiet confidence that love is already theirs. They do not chase, they do not grasp. They embody the state of one who is already loved, already whole. And because of this, love flows to them effortlessly. This principle applies to all things: money, success, peace, or any other desire. When you cling to a wish with desperation, you unknowingly affirm its absence. Your actions, your thoughts, and your emotions vibrate at the frequency of, "I do not have this." And so the world reflects that back to you. But when you assume it is already yours, when you feel the reality of it as though it were present now, your world must shift to accommodate this new belief. Consider the nature of breath. You do not hold on to each inhale in fear that there will not be another. You trust the natural rhythm of life, knowing that as soon as you release, the next breath comes effortlessly. This is the same way manifestation works. When you let go of the need to control, to chase, to demand, you create space for the very thing you desire to flow into your experience. People often mistake detachment for indifference, but they are not the same. Detachment does not mean giving up on your desires. It means releasing the fear that they may not come. It means stepping into the state of already having, rather than waiting for an external event to grant it to you. If you desire wealth, do not spend your days lamenting your lack of it. Instead, embody the mindset of abundance. Carry yourself as one who is financially free. Feel gratitude as though it were already yours. This is not about pretending or mere wishful thinking. It is about knowing that creation is finished, that what you have imagined exists in an unseen form and is making its way to you. You do not need to beg for it, chase it, or worry about when it will arrive. You need only to rest in the certainty that it is already yours. When you stop chasing, you become magnetic. When you stop begging, you begin receiving. You must ask yourself, am I living in the state of having or in the state of wanting? Because the state in which you dwell determines the reality you will experience. Shift from longing to knowing, from grasping to allowing. And when you do, you will find that what once seemed distant is suddenly drawn to you with ease. The very act of holding on too tightly to an outcome often pushes it further away. This is the paradox at the heart of creation, the law of reversal. The harder you try to control reality, the more it resists. The more you chase something, the more you affirm that it is not yet yours. But the moment you release, the moment you detach and trust, reality bends in your favor. This is because clinging is rooted in fear. It carries the silent but powerful message that you do not trust life to bring you what is already yours. When you desperately hold on to a desire, watching every sign, analyzing every detail, and fearing its absence, you are not living in the state of having, you are living in the state of lacking. And so, by the very nature of consciousness, lack is what is reflected back to you. Think of water cupped in your hands. If you squeeze too tightly, it slips through your fingers. But when you relax your hands, the water remains. The same is true with anything you desire. The moment you stop forcing, the moment you let go of your grip, what you seek is free to flow toward you. Detachment is not about giving up on your dreams. It is about allowing them to unfold naturally. It is knowing that what is meant for you cannot be lost, and that your desires are not outside of you, but already a part of your unfolding reality. This does not mean you do nothing. It means you assume the state of already having, and from that place actions flow effortlessly. Imagine two individuals. One is obsessed with achieving success, constantly worrying about when and how it will come. They live in a state of tension, overanalyzing every step, fearing that if they relax, everything will fall apart. The other knows their success is inevitable. They move with ease, trusting that their vision is already fulfilled, taking inspired action without desperation. Who do you think will experience success more naturally? The one who trusts, who moves without grasping, who does not let fear dictate their actions. This is the great reversal. When you no longer need something, it comes. When you stop chasing love, it finds you. When you stop worrying about money, opportunities appear. When you release control, life rearranges itself to meet your highest assumption. The unseen forces move in perfect harmony when you stop interfering with doubt and fear. People often resist this truth because they believe effort equals results. They think if they do not push, they will not receive. But true effort is not about struggle. It is about alignment. The strongest force is the one that is centered, unwavering in its certainty. A person who trusts does not rush, does not beg, does not force. They allow. Detachment is the ultimate act of faith. It is the silent confidence that everything is already working in your favor, even if you cannot yet see it. It is the understanding that control is an illusion, and that by letting go, you give space for greater things to unfold. So, what are you gripping too tightly? What fear is making you chase instead of receive? The moment you recognize that clinging repels and detachment attracts, you will step into a new way of being, one where life flows effortlessly toward you, and all that is yours comes with ease. Your imagination is not a mere tool for fantasy. It is the very substance of reality itself. What you consistently hold in your consciousness with certainty must externalize into your world. Every experience you encounter, every condition you face, is nothing more than the outpicturing of what has been impressed upon your inner world. The great mistake many make is believing that the external world is separate from their inner reality, when in truth the world around you is simply a mirror reflecting the state of your consciousness. When you imagine something with conviction, when you feel it as real within you, it must take form. This is not wishful thinking, nor is it a matter of chance. It is law. What is seen originates from what is unseen. Everything you have ever experienced first existed as an unseen reality within the mind of someone, whether consciously or unconsciously. The home you live in, the chair you sit on, the device in your hands, each of these was first an idea, an image held in consciousness before it materialized into the physical world. But here is where so many falter. Instead of holding their desires in imagination with unwavering faith, they beg, they plead, they force, and in doing so they contradict their belief in its presence. The one who begs for something affirms that they do not have it. The one who pleads from a place of desperation declares to themselves and the universe that their desire is separate from them. And the one who forces outcomes through sheer effort is acting from doubt, not faith. These actions only reinforce the very state they wish to escape. Contrast this with the one who understands the power of imagination. They do not beg, for they know it is already theirs. They do not plead, for they feel the reality of their desire within them. They do not force, for they trust the natural unfolding of events. They rest in the assurance that what is real within must become real without. They understand that the unseen world of thought, feeling, and belief is the only true reality, and that the physical world is merely a reflection of it. This is why so many fail to manifest what they want. They imagine for a moment, then quickly fall back into doubt. They look to the outer world for proof before they believe, not realizing that belief must come first. They shift between faith and fear, between certainty and anxiety, and in doing so they create nothing but delay and confusion. But the one who remains steadfast, who assumes the feeling of their wish fulfilled and does not waver, will see their inner vision harden into fact. Imagination requires no external validation. It does not ask for permission. It does not depend on circumstances. The moment you accept something as true in your consciousness, it begins to move toward you. Your only task is to remain loyal to that inner knowing, to refuse to be swayed by appearances, and to persist in the assumption that what you desire is already a living reality within you. So ask yourself, are you living from the state of already having, or from the state of lack? Are you imagining with certainty, or are you allowing doubt to erode your vision? The choice is always yours. And the moment you choose to believe in the unseen more than the seen, the moment you stop begging and start knowing, your world will shift to reflect your certainty. It is law. It cannot fail. Manifestation is not about wishing, hoping, or waiting. It is about feeling. Feeling is the gateway through which the unseen becomes seen, through which the formless takes shape. The world around you is nothing more than a reflection of the state of being you occupy, and that state is determined by feeling. When you embody the feeling of already having your desire, manifestation flows effortlessly, for you have aligned yourself with its reality. Most people misunderstand this principle. They believe they must first see evidence in the external world before they can feel a sense of having. They wait for circumstances to change before allowing themselves to feel abundant, loved, successful, or at peace. But this is the great reversal of cause and effect. The outer world does not create your inner state. Your inner state creates the outer world. To manifest what you desire, you must feel it as real before it appears. You must claim it within yourself first, without waiting for permission from reality. Think of the last time you experienced deep joy or love. It was not something external that created the feeling. It was your perception of the experience that generated it. The same applies to manifestation. You are not creating something new. You are selecting an experience from the infinite field of possibilities by dwelling in the feeling of already having it. The moment you shift your state of being, the world begins to rearrange itself in response. But here is where so many stumble. They obsess over how their desire will come. They watch for signs. They analyze every movement of reality. They ask themselves if they are doing enough, and in doing so, they unknowingly affirm that their desire is separate from them, that it is something yet to be attained, rather than something already existing within their consciousness. This attachment to the how only breeds doubt and resistance. The truth is, you do not need to know how. You only need to know that it is done. Imagine a gardener planting a seed. He does not dig it up every day to check if it is growing. He does not worry about how the soil will transform it into a plant. He trusts the process, knowing that as long as he nurtures it, the growth is inevitable. Your desires function the same way. The moment you plant the seed of fulfillment in your imagination, your only task is to rest in the certainty that it is already growing, already unfolding, already on its way. To do this, you must discipline your mind to remain in the state of already having. When doubt creeps in, do not entertain it. When appearances suggest otherwise, do not be swayed. Reality will always reflect your dominant state of being, but there is a delay between assumption and manifestation. This is where most people give up. They waver, they question, they allow external conditions to dictate their belief. But the ones who persist who remain steadfast in the feeling of already having, are the ones who experience effortless manifestation. It is not enough to visualize a desire, it must be felt. You must breathe it, live it, embody it, as if it were already part of your existence. If you desire wealth, do not focus on the absence of it. Feel the security, the freedom, the ease of already being abundant. If you desire love, do not dwell in loneliness. Feel the warmth, the connection, the joy of already being deeply loved. If you desire success, do not agonize over when it will come. Walk, speak, and think from the knowing that it is already yours. This is not pretense. It is not about acting or pretending. It is about shifting your inner reality so completely that the outer world has no choice but to conform. When you master the art of feeling as if it is done, the struggle ceases. The need to control disappears, and what once seemed distant is drawn to you effortlessly, as naturally as the tide follows the moon. There is a power beyond what the eyes can see, beyond what logic can grasp. It is always at work, orchestrating events, shifting circumstances, and aligning the right people, places, and moments to bring forth what you hold in your consciousness. This is not chance. This is not coincidence. It is the movement of unseen forces responding to the state of being you assume. The moment you release attachment, the moment you stop grasping and start trusting, these forces begin to work in your favor, rearranging reality itself to bring you what is already yours. Most people struggle with this because they rely too much on the physical senses. They believe only in what they can see, hear, and touch. They measure progress by external evidence, constantly checking for signs that their desires are manifesting. But the more they look outward for confirmation, the more they reaffirm their doubt. They unknowingly declare that what they desire is still absent, and so absence is what continues to be reflected in their world. The key to unlocking the power of unseen forces is trust, deep, unwavering trust. When you trust, you no longer need proof. You do not micromanage reality or question whether things are moving. You know they are. Even if nothing seems to be happening, even if circumstances appear unchanged, you remain unshaken. You understand that the visible world is always a step behind the unseen. By the time something materializes, the process has long been underway. Think of planting a seed in the soil. You do not see the roots forming beneath the surface, but you trust that they are growing. You do not stand over the seed in frustration, demanding it to sprout immediately. You allow nature to do its work, knowing that at the right time the plant will break through the surface. This is how unseen forces operate in your life. Once you have set a clear intention, once you have assumed the feeling of already having, your only task is to let go and trust that all things are being arranged for you. Releasing attachment does not mean giving up on your desire. It means no longer needing it to feel complete. It means shifting from desperation to quiet confidence, from anxious waiting to calm knowing. When you release, you create space. You step out of the way and allow the forces of creation to move without interference. You no longer block the flow with doubt, worry, or control. You surrender. Not in weakness, but in certainty. Many have experienced this in moments of surrender. They spend months or years trying to force an outcome, growing frustrated when nothing happens. But the moment they give up, the moment they stop caring so much, things suddenly shift. The job offer comes. The person they longed for reaches out. The opportunity appears as if out of nowhere. Why? Because by letting go, they removed the resistance that was keeping it at bay. The unseen forces were always at work, but their attachment was blocking the flow. Reality is fluid. It is shaped by consciousness, molded by assumption, and directed by trust. When you release attachment, reality bends in your favor. It shifts in ways that seem miraculous, yet are completely natural. The right doors open, often in ways you could not have planned. The people, opportunities, and circumstances you need arrive effortlessly, without struggle. It feels as if life itself is guiding you, and in truth it is. So, do not concern yourself with how things will happen. Do not burden yourself with timelines or worry about whether you are doing enough. Your role is to assume the feeling of already having and to trust the unseen forces to handle the rest. The moment you truly let go, the moment you rest in the knowing that it is done, the universe will move in ways you could never predict, bringing you everything that was always meant to be yours. Receiving is an art, yet most people do not know how to receive. They believe they must fight, struggle, and chase after what they desire, unaware that this very effort pushes it further away. True receiving does not come from force, it comes from alignment. It comes from understanding that what you seek is already seeking you, and the only thing required is to make space for it by letting go of resistance. Detachment is often misunderstood. Many think it means giving up, resigning, or losing interest in their desires. But detachment is not about abandoning what you want. It is about releasing the grip of desperation that keeps it out of reach. It is about shifting from a mindset of lack to one of certainty, from seeking to allowing. When you truly detach, you do not give up on your desires. You simply stop blocking their arrival. Imagine a clenched fist holding onto something tightly. The more force applied, the more tension is created. Nothing can enter that closed grip. But the moment the hand relaxes, it becomes open to receive. This is the energy of detachment. When you let go of grasping, you create space. And in that space, what was once struggling to reach you is finally able to flow in effortlessly. Most people struggle with receiving because they are caught in a cycle of control. They want to dictate how and when things should happen. They analyze, question, and doubt, unknowingly reinforcing the belief that what they want is still absent. They chase their desires, believing that movement equals progress, but chasing only affirms separation. It keeps the thing desired at a distance. The moment you stop chasing is the moment it begins to move toward you. Look at your own life. Think of the times when things seemed to fall into place effortlessly, when the perfect opportunity appeared just when you needed it, when someone you were thinking about suddenly reached out, when a desire you once longed for arrived the moment you stopped worrying about it. These are not coincidences. They are reflections of a deep universal truth, that receiving is a state of being, not an act of doing. To receive, you must trust. Trust that what is meant for you is already on its way. Trust that the unseen forces of creation are arranging everything in divine order. This does not mean sitting idly or doing nothing. It means acting from a place of faith rather than fear. It means embodying the energy of already having rather than waiting for external proof. It means walking as if the desire is fulfilled, speaking as if it is done, and feeling as if it is already yours. If you desire love, do not seek it from a place of loneliness. Feel the presence of love in your life now. If you desire wealth, do not affirm lack by worrying about money. Instead, embody the ease and security of abundance. If you desire success, do not chase after recognition or validation. Live in the knowing that success is already woven into your being. This is the energy of receiving, one of quiet confidence rather than anxious pursuit. The paradox is this: the moment you let go, you make room for what you desire to come in. You stop interfering with the process. You step out of your own way. You move from forcing to flowing, from resisting to allowing. What was once a distant wish transforms into a present reality, not because you pushed for it, but because you aligned with it. So, release the need to chase. Release the need to struggle. Instead, hold the feeling of already having and trust in the timing of the unseen. What you seek is seeking you. Allow it in. Everything you desire is already within reach, not because you must chase it, force it, or struggle for it, but because it is already yours in consciousness. The moment you release attachment, the moment you stop grasping and trust in the unseen forces at work, reality moves in your favor. Clinging repels, detachment attracts. The more you hold on in desperation, the more you affirm its absence. But when you relax into certainty, when you assume the feeling of already having, you create the space for manifestation to flow effortlessly into your life. You do not need to beg, plead, or wonder how it will happen. You need only to rest in the knowing that it is done. What you seek is seeking you, and your only task is to align with it, not through force, but through faith. Let go, trust, and allow. In doing so, you step into the effortless unfolding of everything meant for you. Thank you. Close your eyes for a moment and ask yourself, who am I when I have everything I desire? Not who you hope to be, not who you wish to become, but who you already are in the unseen world. The version of you that holds no doubts, no fears, no sense of lack. That is the frequency you must occupy. The greatest illusion is believing you must first achieve before you can feel. That you must first see proof before you can believe in yourself. But reality does not work this way. You are not waiting for greatness to arrive. You are not hoping that one day the world will recognize you. The moment you shift your vibration, the moment you become the best within, the world has no choice but to reflect it. How does the best version of you speak, walk, carry themselves? Embody that now. Stop looking to see if your new life has arrived. You must be unwavering in your assumption, regardless of what your senses tell you. If you were already the best, would you doubt yourself? Would you hesitate? No. You would move with certainty. You would wake up each day knowing that the world bends to match your state of being. And that is exactly how you must live. Not in waiting, not in hoping, but in knowing. Your vibration is the key. It is not your effort, not your struggle, not your desperate attempts to force things into place. It is your state of being. When you feel it first, the world must conform. When you persist in the assumption of already being the best, nothing can deny you. The world does not respond to what you merely wish for. It responds to what you are. Your dominant vibration, the state of being you embody most consistently, determines the experiences that unfold in your life. Every thought you entertain, every emotion you hold on to, and every assumption you live by shapes the world around you, whether you realize it or not. Many people believe they must struggle, force, or chase after what they desire. They spend their days longing for success, love, or financial abundance, hoping that external circumstances will one day shift in their favor. But in doing so, they overlook the most powerful truth. The world is not happening to you. It is happening through you. Every experience is a mirror reflecting your inner state, your deepest beliefs, and the vibration you maintain. If you constantly feel lack, if you persist in the thought that something is missing from your life, then that very sense of absence is what the world will continue to reflect back to you. When you say, I want wealth, or I want love, you are acknowledging that you do not yet have it. The energy behind your words and thoughts is what shapes your experience. The more you dwell in the feeling of not having, the more you perpetuate that reality. Instead of wishing for a better life, assume the state of already having it. Feel the emotions you would feel if your desires were already fulfilled. Imagine how you would walk, speak, and think if you had already arrived at your destination. When you step into that state of being, when you make it your natural vibration, the world has no choice but to align with it. This is not about pretending or forcing yourself to believe something that feels untrue. It is about shifting your focus from what you lack to what you already are within. If you wish to experience confidence, you must first embody confidence. If you wish to attract abundance, you must first feel abundant within. Your external world is simply a delayed reflection of your internal state. Change the cause and the effect must follow. The greatest mistake people make is waiting for proof before they believe in their new reality. They want the money in their hands before they feel wealthy. They want the relationship before they feel loved. But this is backward thinking. The feeling must come first. You must generate the vibration before the physical world can mirror it back to you. Think of a radio station. If you wish to hear a certain frequency, you do not beg the station to change. You adjust your dial to match it. Your reality operates in the same way. Align yourself with the frequency of your desires and they must materialize. Stop asking, stop doubting, and stop waiting for external validation. Instead, Become the person who already has what they seek. Shift your inner world and watch as the outer world reshapes itself to match. Everything you see in the world first existed in the unseen, within the realm of imagination. Before anything can manifest in your physical reality, it must be conceived in your mind. The thoughts you dwell upon, the images you entertain, and the emotions you cultivate shape the experiences that unfold in your life. This is not wishful thinking, it is the very foundation of creation. Many people believe they must first achieve something before they can feel a certain way. They tell themselves, once I am successful, then I will feel confident. Once I have love, then I will feel worthy. Once I have wealth, then I will feel abundant. But they fail to realize that this very mindset keeps them trapped. Reality does not work in this order. You do not feel confident because you are successful. You become successful because you first feel confident. You do not attract love by waiting to be chosen. You attract it by first embodying the feeling of being deeply loved within. The outer world is simply a reflection of your inner world. When you assume the feeling of already being the best, before any physical evidence exists, you activate the process of manifestation. You align your consciousness with the reality you seek, and through this alignment, circumstances begin to shift. You must persist in this inner conviction, regardless of what your senses tell you. If you allow the external world to dictate your inner state, you remain bound to the limitations of what already exists. But if you dare to live from the end, to imagine yourself as already being the best, already having what you seek, the world must eventually conform. Imagination is the seed of reality. Every great achievement, every innovation, every masterpiece first existed as a thought, a vision, a mental picture. The difference between those who create extraordinary lives and those who remain stuck is simple. The former persist in their imagination until their vision hardens into fact. They refuse to entertain doubts or contradict their assumption with fear. They walk through life with the quiet knowing that their inner world is far more real than anything their eyes currently see. If you wish to transform your reality, you must become disciplined in your imagination. Do not merely hope for success. See yourself as already being the best. Feel the emotions of having arrived. Carry yourself as if you are already in possession of what you desire. This is not pretending, it is a shift in consciousness. You are stepping into a new version of yourself, one that no longer waits for proof, but creates the proof through unwavering conviction. Most people live as prisoners of their current circumstances, unaware that they have the power to rewrite their story. But the truth is, your imagination holds the key to everything you seek. Whatever you consistently dwell upon in your mind becomes your lived experience. Guard your imagination fiercely. Use it intentionally. Assume the feeling of already being the best, and reality will have no choice but to bow to your assumption. Most people live as if the world must first change before they can feel the way they desire. They wait for success before they feel successful, for love before they feel love, for wealth before they feel abundant. But this is the great misunderstanding that keeps them trapped in a cycle of waiting. Reality does not work this way. The outer world does not create your inner state. Your inner state creates your outer world. If you truly want transformation, you must reverse the process. Instead of waiting for proof, you must feel the emotion first. Embody the energy of what you desire as if it were already yours. When you shift your internal state, the external world has no choice but to rearrange itself to match. The law is simple. What you feel, you attract. Consider how most people operate. They say, I will believe in myself once I see success. But the ones who truly succeed, those who rise above limitations, understand that belief must come first. They carry themselves with confidence before the world recognizes them. They embody success long before it materializes. Their energy precedes their outcome, and because of this, reality conforms to their inner conviction. Think of a radio station. If you want to hear a particular frequency, you must tune into it first. You do not demand that the station plays your song before you adjust the dial. You must first align with the correct frequency, and then the sound comes through. Life operates the same way. You must become a vibrational match to your desires before they can manifest in your reality. The mistake many people make is looking to their current circumstances for confirmation. They check their bank account and see lack. They look at their relationships and see loneliness. They judge their present reality and assume it is permanent. But your current reality is only a reflection of your past thoughts and emotions. If you continue to react to what is, you will continue to recreate the same conditions. If instead you shift your inner world, if you feel successful even before recognition arrives, then the world must shift in response. This is not about pretending or forcing yourself to believe something false. It is about aligning your energy with the version of you who already has what you seek. Ask yourself, how would I feel if my desire were already fulfilled? What emotions would you wake up with? How would you walk? How would you speak? The key is to embody that state now, not later. Most people wait. They wait for signs, for permission, for validation. But those who understand the deeper truth know that feeling comes first and manifestation follows. Energy precedes form. The secret is not in waiting. It is in assuming the state of fulfillment now. If you dare to live from the feeling of already having, the world will have no choice but to reflect it back to you. The greatest obstacle to transformation is not the world around you. It is the version of yourself that you refuse to release. Many people desire change, yet they cling to the very thoughts, beliefs, and habits that keep them bound to their current reality. They want success but continue to entertain doubt. They seek love but hold on to unworthiness. They long for abundance while still thinking from a place of lack. But you cannot bring the old self into a new reality. You must be willing to detach. Your identity, what you assume to be true about yourself, determines everything. If you see yourself as struggling, no amount of effort will create lasting success. If you see yourself as unworthy, no external validation will ever be enough. Transformation is not about forcing the world to change. It is about stepping into a new version of yourself internally and refusing to entertain anything that contradicts it. Imagine a person trapped in a cycle of financial struggle. They say they want abundance, but deep down they believe wealth is difficult to attain. They identify with struggle. Even when opportunities arise, they find ways to sabotage them because their self-concept does not align with financial success. Now, imagine this person shifting their identity. Instead of seeing themselves as someone who tries to be wealthy, they begin to assume the state of wealth itself. They no longer entertain thoughts of struggle. They no longer speak as if money is scarce. They detach from the old version of themselves, and as a result, their reality must shift. Detachment does not mean ignoring your current circumstances. It means no longer allowing them to dictate who you are. The moment you decide that the old version of yourself is no longer relevant, your energy changes. You begin to think, feel, and act in alignment with your new self. And because reality mirrors your state of being, the external world must follow. The mistake many people make is trying to change their lives while still holding on to their old mindset. They affirm wealth, but still feel poor. They visualize love, but still believe they are undeserving. They take action toward success, but still carry the fear of failure. This inner contradiction creates resistance, making true transformation impossible. The key is to commit fully, to step into your new self without hesitation. Ask yourself, what thoughts belong to the old me? What emotions no longer serve me? What assumptions am I ready to release? Then make a decision right now that you will no longer identify with anything that does not serve your highest vision. The world does not respond to what you say you want. It responds to what you are. Detach from the old self. Walk as the new version of you. Think, feel, and act in harmony with the life you desire. And as you remain faithful to this new identity, your world will reshape itself to match. Most people believe that success, confidence, and abundance come from external validation, that once they achieve something, then they will finally feel like they have arrived. But this is an illusion. The truth is that reality does not shape your inner state. Your inner state shapes reality. The key is consistency in being. You must embody the version of yourself who already has what you desire, not just for a fleeting moment, but as a way of life. Acting as if you are the best is not about pretending. It is not about putting on a mask or forcing yourself to be something you are not. It is about aligning with your highest self and persisting in that state until the world reflects it back to you. The longer you maintain this frequency, the more reality must conform. Many people get excited about change but quickly revert to their old ways when they don't see immediate results. They affirm abundance one day, then complain about lack the next. They step into confidence for a moment, only to fall back into self-doubt when external validation is absent. This inconsistency weakens their manifestation. The universe responds to persistence. It does not reward wishful thinking or occasional effort. It responds to unwavering conviction. Think of a sculptor shaping a masterpiece. Each chisel, each stroke brings the vision to life, but the form does not appear instantly. The sculptor must persist, continuing to refine even when the final image is not yet visible. Your transformation is the same. You may not see immediate changes, but that does not mean they are not occurring. The longer you remain in alignment with your new self, the stronger its presence becomes in your reality. This is why many fail. They allow their senses to dictate their belief. They look at their current circumstances and let them determine how they feel. If success has not yet shown itself, they assume it is not coming. But those who understand the deeper truth remain steadfast. They do not need external proof to maintain their inner state. They know that who they are being now is what determines what they will experience next. Ask yourself, if I were already the best, how would I carry myself? How would I think, feel, and act every single day? The key is to remain in that state, unwavering. Do not let fear or doubt shake you. Do not allow temporary setbacks to convince you that change is not happening. Every thought, every action, every emotion must be in alignment with your chosen self. Most people give up before the shift is complete. They break their consistency, reverting to old patterns. But if you persist, if you continue being the person who already has what you seek, then the world must eventually reflect it. Reality has no choice but to match your dominant state. Hold the vision, maintain the feeling, stay unwavering in your embodiment of the best version of yourself. Be consistent in being, and transformation is inevitable. Most people live in reaction to the world around them. They look at their circumstances and allow them to dictate what they believe is possible. If they see success, they feel successful. If they see failure, they feel defeated. If the world offers no proof of change, they assume change is impossible. But this is the great misunderstanding that keeps them trapped. The world is not the cause, it is the effect. It is a mirror, reflecting back the assumptions you hold within. If you wait for evidence before you believe in your new self, you will wait forever. Transformation does not happen by seeking proof first. It happens by believing in your new self before the world confirms it. Faith must come before sight. If you accept something as true in your imagination and persist in that belief, the world has no choice but to conform. Reality is always catching up to the assumptions you hold most consistently. This is why so many people struggle to change. They begin with excitement, affirming their new self, visualizing their success, and feeling inspired. But when they look around and see no immediate shift, doubt creeps in. They tell themselves, maybe this isn't working, maybe nothing is changing. And because they allow the lack of external evidence to shake their belief, they fall back into their old state. In doing so, they unknowingly reaffirm the very reality they are trying to escape. The ones who truly transform their lives are those who refuse to let the outside world dictate their inner world. They remain steadfast in their belief, even when nothing seems to be happening. They hold their vision even when the evidence is absent. They understand that just because something has not yet appeared does not mean it is not on its way. Consider a seed planted in the soil. For days, even weeks, nothing appears above the surface. If you judged based on sight alone, you might assume that nothing is happening. But beneath the surface, the seed is taking root. It is growing, expanding, preparing to emerge. The same is true for your reality. Just because you do not see immediate results does not mean your belief is in vain. Your assumptions are taking root. Your new self is forming. The world will catch up, but only if you remain faithful to your inner vision. Faith over evidence means making a decision. I will believe in my new self no matter what appears before me. It means refusing to entertain doubts, refusing to give in to fear, refusing to waver. It means knowing that the unseen is just as real as the seen, and that what you accept as true within must eventually take shape without. If you persist, reality must bend. The world cannot help but reflect back to you what you assume to be true. But the test is whether you will hold your faith long enough for the shift to happen. Believe first, and the evidence will come. The power to transform your life does not lie in waiting for circumstances to change. It lies in changing yourself first. Your vibration shapes your reality. Your imagination plants the seeds of your future, and your unwavering faith ensures its manifestation. The world is not separate from you. It is a reflection of what you consistently assume to be true. Acting as if you are the best is not about pretending. It is about embodying the highest version of yourself right now, not someday, not when conditions are perfect, but in this very moment. The longer you persist in this state, the more the world must conform. Do not waver when the evidence is not yet visible. Do not revert to your old self when challenges arise. Detach from limiting beliefs, remain steadfast in your new identity, and hold your inner vision without compromise. Reality bends to those who refuse to be shaken by appearances. Those who persist in faith without needing proof will see their assumptions crystallize into form. Be the person you wish to become now. Walk as if, think as if, feel as if. When you commit fully, when you hold the state without hesitation, the world will have no choice but to catch up. Thank you. There comes a moment in every life where the illusion of struggle, waiting, and hoping must end. That moment is now. You have spent years searching, striving, questioning when your breakthrough will come. But here is the truth. Nothing outside of you holds the key. It has been in your hands all along. The world you see is merely a reflection of what you have been assuming, believing, and accepting as real. But what if I told you that in this very instant, you could step into a new reality? Your turning point is not in the future. It is not something you must work towards or earn. It is now. Close your eyes and strip away every limitation you have ever placed upon yourself. For a moment, let go of the doubts, the fears, the excuses. Who would you be if you knew that nothing stood in your way? What would your life look like if you accepted without hesitation that you are already the person you wish to become? You do not need permission. You do not need more time. The only thing required is a shift in how you see yourself. Decide right now. I am no longer the person who struggles. I am no longer waiting. My desires are already mine. And when you rise from this moment, carry this knowing with you. Walk as if your prayers have already been answered. Speak as if the world is already reflecting your new state. Feel deep in your bones that you have already arrived. This is your turning point. And once you cross this threshold, there is no going back. Everything you see around you, every circumstance, every relationship, every success or failure is nothing more than a reflection of what you have accepted as true. Your current reality is not set in stone. It is not a rigid, unchangeable fact, but a living, breathing projection of your past thoughts, beliefs, and assumptions. For too long, people have believed that life happens to them, that circumstances are beyond their control and that they are at the mercy of fate. But this could not be further from the truth. The world you see is not separate from you, it is you expressed outwardly. Every experience you are having is a result of the thoughts you have consistently held in mind, whether consciously or unconsciously. This means that nothing you face today is permanent, because just as it was created through past assumptions, it can be reshaped by new ones. If you want to know what you have been believing about yourself, look around. Your external life is simply the echo of your internal state. The relationships you attract, the opportunities that come or do not come, the level of success or struggle you experience, these are not random. They are the natural consequences of the assumptions you have entertained over time. You may not have realized it, but every thought, every feeling, every deeply held conviction has been constructing the reality you now occupy. Many people feel trapped in their current circumstances, believing that change is difficult or that they must wait for external factors to shift before their lives can improve. But this is an illusion. The moment you shift your inner state, your external world must follow. It has no choice. The outer world is simply a mirror. It cannot reflect anything that is not first assumed within. If you continue to carry the same beliefs, the same assumptions, and the same inner conversations, you will continue to see the same results. But the instant you decide to change your inner world, your outer world begins to transform as well. The shift does not have to be dramatic. You do not need to struggle to make things happen. You do not need to force the outside world to change. The only thing required is a change in consciousness, a deliberate assumption that the reality you desire is already yours. This is not wishful thinking. This is the law of life. Assume a new state of being, and reality will rearrange itself to match. Perhaps you have experienced this before. Have you ever noticed that when you feel confident and at ease, opportunities seem to flow effortlessly into your life? Or that when you expect difficulties, they appear almost as if summoned? This is no coincidence. The state you occupy, whether of confidence or doubt, abundance or lack, love or loneliness, determines what you experience in the external world. Now understand this. You are not bound by anything you see today. The financial struggles, the relationship challenges, the career setbacks, these are all temporary reflections of past assumptions. The moment you let go of the old beliefs that created them and embrace new ones, your world must shift. Do not be deceived by appearances. They may seem solid, but they are no more real than the reflections in a mirror. If you do not like what you see, do not attempt to fight or change the reflection directly. Change the source. Change your inner state. And watch as the world moves to accommodate the new you. This is your power. This is your freedom. Nothing in your life is permanent unless you accept it as such. Right now, in this moment, you can decide to assume something new. You can claim a new reality. You can declare that you are already the person you wish to be, that your desires are already fulfilled, and that the life you long for is already yours. And as surely as the sun rises, your world will shift to match. At any given moment, you are only one thought away from an entirely new life. The life you are living now, the circumstances you see before you, the challenges you believe you face, these are not immovable forces. They are simply the result of the thoughts and beliefs you have entertained up until this point. And just as your past thoughts have created your present reality, your next thought has the power to create a completely new experience. Most people believe that change is difficult, that transformation requires years of effort, struggle, or external intervention. But this is a false belief, one that keeps them locked in cycles of delay and frustration. The truth is, change is instant. The moment you shift your perception, the moment you decide to accept a new reality as true, your world begins to rearrange itself accordingly. Nothing outside of you has the power to keep you stuck. Only your attachment to old assumptions, to old states of being, holds you in place. Your reality is not created by external conditions. It is not shaped by circumstances, by other people, or by luck. It is shaped by the consciousness you inhabit. The way you see yourself, the thoughts you repeatedly dwell upon, and the feelings you allow yourself to experience determine what unfolds in your life. If you continue to assume the same things, if you continue to think the same way, you will continue to experience the same reality. But if you dare to think differently, if you step into a new assumption, everything must change. Consider for a moment the person you wish to be, the life you long to live, the success, the love, the freedom you desire. What if you could step into that reality right now? What if, instead of waiting for proof, instead of questioning how or when, you simply assumed it to be true? What if you made the decision in this very moment to see yourself as already having arrived? This is the power of consciousness. The instant you decide to embody a new mindset, you are no longer the same person. And because the external world is only a reflection of the inner, it must shift to reflect this new state. But so many hesitate. They believe they must first see change before they can accept it as real. They look to the world for validation, for confirmation that their new state is possible. And in doing so, they remain trapped in their old reality. The world cannot show you a change until you first assume it internally. The mirror cannot reflect a new image until you first present it with one. So right now you stand at the threshold. The choice is yours. You can continue to hold on to the old beliefs, the old identity, the old limitations that have kept you where you are. Or you can make a decision, one simple, powerful decision, to step into a new state of being. This does not require effort. It does not require struggle. It requires only that you assume, fully and completely, that you are already the person you wish to be, that the life you desire is already yours, that all the limitations, all the obstacles, all the delays are illusions that vanish the moment you refuse to accept them as real. What you accept as true becomes your experience. What you assume about yourself determines what manifests in your world. And in this very moment, you have the power to assume something new. Do not wait for the world to change. Do not wait for conditions to be perfect, for circumstances to align. The only thing that must align is your mind. The only thing that must change is your assumption. And the moment you decide, fully, completely, without hesitation, that you are already the version of yourself you have longed to become, your reality must follow. One thought, one decision, that is all it takes. Your imagination is the foundation upon which your entire life is built. Everything you have ever experienced, everything you are living now, and everything you will encounter in the future is shaped first within the realm of your mind. The images you hold, the thoughts you entertain, and the assumptions you persist in believing are actively forming your reality. Most people live under the illusion that life is something that happens to them, that circumstances arise independently of their own thoughts and feelings. They believe that success, love, or happiness are things to be pursued in the external world. But this is a fundamental misunderstanding of how reality works. The truth is, nothing comes into being without first existing in imagination. What you imagine with conviction, what you believe to be real in your inner world, must inevitably manifest in the outer world. Think of the greatest inventions, the most profound works of art, the most revolutionary ideas that have shaped history. They all began as an image in someone's mind before they became tangible. The same is true for your life. Every success, every failure, every experience is the direct result of what you have previously imagined and accepted as true. If you look around at your current circumstances and find things you do not like, understand that they are not fixed. They are simply the byproducts of past imaginings, and just as they were created, they can be replaced. The moment you take control of your imagination and consciously direct it toward what you desire, you begin to reshape your future. But here lies the greatest mistake people make. They wait for proof. They refuse to believe in their desires until they see evidence in the external world. They wait for a sign, for confirmation, for something outside of themselves to validate their new assumption. And in doing so, they remain trapped in their old reality. Your belief is the only proof required. You do not need to see physical evidence before you accept something as true. In fact, the moment you demand proof, you are affirming the absence of your desire. The world does not give you what you want. It gives you what you assume to be real. If you persist in imagining something with conviction, without doubt and without the need for external validation, it must take shape in your life. This is not wishful thinking. This is not daydreaming or idle fantasy. This is the fundamental law of creation. What you hold in your mind with certainty must eventually harden into fact. The process is simple. Close your eyes and see yourself as the person you wish to be. Feel the reality of it. Live in that state mentally as if it were already done. Do this consistently with unwavering belief, and reality will conform. It has no choice. The world may tell you otherwise. It may tell you that change takes time, that success requires effort, that circumstances are beyond your control. But you must refuse to accept these falsehoods. The only thing that determines your reality is what you persist in imagining. Stop waiting for proof. Stop looking to the world for confirmation. The power is within you, and it has been there all along. The moment you decide to believe in your vision with absolute certainty, without hesitation, without doubt, the wheels of creation begin turning. Everything you have ever wanted is already within you, waiting to be assumed, waiting to be believed. The moment you accept it as true in your imagination, you have claimed it. And once claimed internally, it must appear externally. Your imagination is the blueprint of your destiny. What you imagine with conviction, you will live.